Chapter 4. The Awakening. Under the pallid glow of the moon, Krasnaya Zima lay draped in snow, its silence almost sacred. Eve stood outside the ancient church, its steeple a stark silhouette against the night sky. The crisp air turned her breath into fleeting wisps of vapor, as she awaited the celestial event that her mother's notes had cryptically referenced. Around her, the village seemed to brace itself, an unspoken dread hanging heavy in the air. The night was still, yet charged with anticipation, like the calm before a storm. In the heart of the forest, the creature stirred. Its form, a haunting blend of shadow and ice, moved with otherworldly grace. Its eyes, glowing ominously, scanned the darkness, an ancient intelligence lurking within. Eve's heart raced, an echo of the creature's movements. She could sense its presence, a palpable shift in the air, a cold that seeped deeper than winter's embrace. In his home, Dmitry Sokolov felt the change. He peered out of his window, his seasoned instincts on high alert. Grabbing his axe, he stepped outside, his voice a low growl. "Something's wrong," he muttered to himself, scanning the darkness. Olga Morozova woke from a restless sleep, her breath catching in her throat. From her window, she saw the subtle signs of the creature's awakening. "It has begun," she whispered, a mix of fear and awe in her voice. The lore of old, the tales she had studied for years, were coming to life before her eyes. Nadia Petrova, awoken by the same unnameable sense of urgency, wrapped a shawl around her shoulders. She felt the shift, a disturbance that resonated with the village's dark history. "The past refuses to stay buried," she murmured, her eyes reflecting the flames from her hearth. Eve, standing at the edge of the forest, watched as the creature paused. Their gazes locked, an unspoken challenge hanging between them. In that moment, Eve felt a connection, a recognition that sent shivers down her spine. The creature then vanished into the shadows, leaving a trail of frost in its wake. Back in the village, Dmitry approached Eve, his expression grave. "You saw it, didn't you?" he asked, his voice tense. Eve nodded, her resolve hardening. "Yes, and it's only the beginning." Olga, joining them, her eyes wide with knowledge and fear, added, "This creature, it's more than just a legend, it's a part of our village, a part of us." As they stood together, the unlikely trio, the weight of their shared destiny hung in the air. Eve knew that the awakening of the creature was not just a harbinger of terror, but a call to unearth the secrets buried deep within Krasnaya Zima, secrets that were now inexorably entwined with her own fate. In the stillness of the night, Eve realized that her search for answers about her mother's disappearance had led her to a crossroads of myth and reality. The creature, a manifestation of the village's darkest fears and unspoken truths, was now an integral part of her journey. Dmitry, his face etched with worry, broke the silence. "We must prepare. It won't stay hidden for long." Olga nodded solemnly. "The old tales speak of a ritual, a way to appease it. But the cost is steep." Nadia, her voice steady, yet tinged with unease, joined them. "Then we must find another way. We cannot let fear dictate our fate." As they dispersed, each lost in their thoughts, the village of Krasnaya Zima seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what was to come. The creature's awakening had set in motion events that could no longer be stopped, and for Eve, the path ahead was fraught with danger and discovery. In the cold embrace of the Siberian night, the echoes of the past whispered with the snow, and Eve knew that the answers she sought were hidden within the very heart of the village, within the shadow of the creature that now haunted her steps. Chapter 5. The Beast Unleashed. In the waning light of dusk, the village lay under a shroud of anticipation. Eve, her thoughts a whirlwind of revelations, stood in the old library, her eyes scanning Olga Morozova's texts. The tales, steeped in tragedy and lore, spoke of a creature born from human sorrow. a mirror to Eve's own transformation in the wake of her mother's disappearance. Her discovery was interrupted by a blood-curdling scream that pierced the evening stillness. Rushing outside, Eve's heart hammered in her chest as she witnessed a scene of horror unfolding near the forest's edge. Alexei, a young villager, lay sprawled in the snow, his shoulder and upper arm grotesquely frostbitten, skin blue and blistered. His chest and face were marred with deep bleeding scratches, a testament to the creature's wrath. Amidst the chaos, Dmitry Sokolov emerged, his back bearing vicious wounds, blood seeping through his torn shirt. His hands, marked with slashes, trembled from the altercation, yet in his eyes burned a fierce resolve. He had leaped into the fray, defending Alexei from the creature's savage assault. The villagers, faces etched with terror, gathered around, their whispers filling the cold air. Olga, her voice a beacon of calm in the pandemonium, addressed the crowd. "The creature, it's not just a myth. It's a soul trapped in anguish. It was once a human. Eve's mother was the last person to see the creature transform from human to what it is now." Eve, her mind reeling from the attack, returned to the library where Nadia Petrova awaited, her face a mask of concern. Together, they discovered a hidden study behind a bookcase, a secret chamber that once belonged to Eve's mother. The room, veiled in shadows, held clues to an ancient ritual, hinting at Eve's unforeseen role in the unfolding curse. Amidst the relics and ritualistic symbols, Eve found another journal written in her mother's handwriting, its pages revealing a shocking truth. Dmitry, entering the hidden study, his wounds hastily bandaged, shared a revelation that left Eve breathless. "Evelyn," he began, his voice heavy with the weight of secrets long buried. "Your birth, it's entwined with the creature's curse. You are more than just a seeker of truths. You are a key to the creature's salvation." Eve, her world turned upside down, realized the depth of her connection to the creature. Her mother's disappearance, the creature's torment, and her own fate were inextricably linked, bound by a curse that spanned decades. In Krasnaya Zima, where the past whispered through the pines and secrets lay hidden beneath the snow, the true nature of the curse began to unravel. Eve, now at the heart of the mystery, faced a path fraught with danger and revelations. A path that would lead her to confront the very essence of the curse and her role in its potential unraveling. Chapter 6. The Heart of Darkness. The night descended upon Krasnaya Zima like a shroud, its silence more haunting than any whisper. In this oppressive stillness, a sudden unearthly howl shattered the calm, reverberating through the snow-covered streets. Eve, her heart pounding in her chest, peered out from her room at the inn to witness a scene of eerie desolation in the village square. Under the ghostly glow of the moon, the center of the village, once a symbol of communal life, lay ravaged. An ancient statue cherished by the villagers as a relic of their heritage was now nothing but rubble, its destruction a silent testament to the creature's wrath. Eve's mind raced with the implications of this attack, a chilling reminder of the creature's lurking presence. Clutching her mother's journal, her resolve hardened. She knew the time to uncover the truth was slipping away like shadows at dawn. In the heart of the village, the air was thick with tension and fear. Dmitry Sokolov, his bandaged wounds a stark contrast against his rugged frame, stepped forward amidst the villagers. "We must stand together," he declared, his voice a beacon of strength. "This creature, this curse, it threatens us all." Eve, joining the villagers, felt the weight of their stares, a mixture of fear and unspoken accusations. She approached Dmitry, her eyes reflecting the turmoil within. "This isn't just about survival," she said, her voice low but firm. "There's more to this creature, to this curse. We need to understand, to confront it." The revelation of Eve's connection to the creature, a bond forged by a ritual gone awry, hung heavily over her. The creature, once a man loved by her mother, now a twisted shadow of despair, mirrored Eve's own struggle with her identity and the mystery of her past. As the villagers dispersed, whispers of fear and resolve trailing behind them, Eve found solace in the company of Nadia Petrova. Together they ventured into the hidden study in the library, where Eve's mother had once delved into forbidden knowledge. The room, shrouded in secrecy, was a mosaic of her mother's obsession, a tableau of ancient texts and ritualistic symbols. Nadia, her eyes wide with apprehension, watched as Eve traced the arcane symbols. "What are you looking for?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Eve, her fingers lingering on a peculiar insignia, replied, "A way to end this curse. My mother believed I was the key." The revelation struck like a thunderclap. The texts, with Olga Morozova's guidance, alluded to an ancient ritual, one that required a unique bond, a bond that Eve alone possessed, a ritual that could either lift the curse or bind it tighter. As night enveloped the village, a sense of foreboding settled over Krasnaya Zima. Eve, standing at the crossroads of her destiny, realized that her journey was more than a search for truth. It was a descent into the very heart of darkness, where the lines between human and monster, love and fear, were blurred beyond recognition. In the shadows of the broken statue, with the whispers of the past echoing in her ears, Eve faced the daunting path ahead. Her decision would not only determine her fate, but also the fate of the village and the tortured soul of the creature bound to her by a curse as old as time itself.